It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Thursday show, November 2nd, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live or the Fox local app. If you're watching on YouTube, hello to you. Hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. Woodward Sports. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friend. You know fall is my favorite season, and you know Thursday is haircut Thursday, so I'm feeling extra crispy today. Sad though that Maz is not joining us today. It's a sad Maz chair today. This is the Maz cam as he is in Jersey, hanging with the people. So Maz, we miss you. Do some work. V-mix in, if you will, because the people and myself, we still want to see you. JB Parker, how you gentlemen doing?
Very good, very good. Good job, gentlemen. Looks like they're doing good too, Bray. Interesting night, interesting morning.
I'm sorry, Ryan. How are you doing today? My apologies.
Braylon, I am doing fantastic today. Can I just say this too? We have such great gear on the woodwardsports.com page. Go to the shop. Gear up for winter. Get your holiday shopping done. Woodward Sports paraphernalia is out there. It is very reasonably priced. Very reasonably priced. Yeah. You look good and you feel good. I'm very particular about the shirts and sweaters and this and that I wear. This stuff, Bray, is lights out, my friend.
And the good thing, I actually just took my shirt off. We had to do our shoot for the Fox pregame show again. I took my shirt off. It's over there. But the other thing about it too is everybody's wearing chill clothes in this era. Like you go to the movies, relax, some joggers, cool little quarter zip, a little V-neck, little quarter zip, or golf shirt. You go anywhere. You go to concerts. Everybody's wearing comfortable gear. So get yourself some of this comfortable gear because you can wear it anywhere. Going to the mall, going to the movies, going out to eat, or just picking up the trash.
No doubt. We believe we've got a great show for you today, guys. We'll talk the latest on the Michigan allegations coming up with our good friend Josh Henschke coming up at about 2:30. We'll get the latest on what's happening now. We'll talk Detroit Lions, but I do want to start with a couple of things that happened last night, Bray. First and foremost, there is a new World Series champion, and unfortunately, I think the ratings were terrible and nobody was watching. But the baseball, we were, and the baseball was really good. The Texas Rangers won the first World Series title in their franchise's history. They've been around since 1961 and got the job done last night. Corey Seager won the MVP award, the second MVP award for Corey Seager. He, of course, won one when they won for the Dodgers a couple of years ago. So it felt right. To me, the Rangers were one of the best teams all season long. They didn't kind of finish the regular season strong and ultimately had to play in the wild card round. But this was a damn good baseball team, and they deserve to win. And I'm glad they got off the schneid a little bit. 1961, that's a long time to wait for a World Series.
Yeah, 100%. You're talking about this is their third World Series appearance since their team's inception, and this is the first time they won, so congrats to those guys. And like you said, man, this team was they were dedicated and they were actually focused to get to this point because they started off hot early on in the year. And they kind of limped into the playoffs, if you will. You're absolutely correct. And just think about how well the team played in the World Series. The best player, arguably, Adolis Garcia, he goes down in game, 2? Mm-hmm. He went down in game, what did they win? They won 4-1, so he went down in game 3. They didn't have the best player, arguably, on their team for the last 2 games, and it didn't matter because they got hit for guys like Mitch Garver. You got Corey Seager back-to-back, not back-to-back, but second time. Only two people ever have won MVP honors at the World Series with 2 different teams, himself and Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. But you got to give all the credit to Bruce Bochy. Like, you got to give the credit to Bruce Bochy, and I appreciate that in this era, Ryan, of analytics and everybody saying you got to take the pitcher out in the 3rd inning or you got to bring in this DH hitter at this particular spot or it doesn't matter. Guys like Bruce Bochy, they coach with the gut.
Yep.
They coach with the coach with the gut, and you saw it every time. You let guys stay in. He knew when to pull guys. This win was as much his as the team. And he's done it now. 4 World Series with 4 different teams, Ryan Ermanni. I think he's one of 3 people that have done that. So Bruce Bochy, last year you see Dusty Baker getting it done with the Astros, another guy that doesn't use analytics as much. Maybe in baseball you're going to start to see people and teams and managers get a little away from analytics and start to coach more with the gut. There's 2 years in a row where gut coaches have won.
Yeah, you look at where baseball has gone with the analytics and the 32, 34-year-old general manager and this, that, and the other thing. Look at the last 2 managers that won the World Series. Yeah. Bruce Bochy at 68 years old, and what's Dusty Baker?
71,
72 years old. They're combined,
old school cats.
They're a combined 140 years old. The last 2 managers to win it all. And I think there is something to be said for that. And it's not so much an age situation, but it is a belief situation. You do, and I think you put it appropriately. You manage these games with your gut. Sure, there's a piece for that analytics, but the launch angle and this, that, the exit velo, did the guy hit the ball out of the ballpark or not?
Or not. 100%.
Can the guy give me 7 innings or not?
Or not.
You know, I don't care about all this other stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And you saw, like, going again, the general manager for the Arizona Diamondbacks is the same guy that in the second round of the playoffs, Ryan, he took 5,000. 5 was hot. Had 7 innings pitched, no hitter. And he take him out in the playoffs because we have to reserve his arm. So sometimes you got to know when to use that gut. In the last 2 years, Dusty Baker and Bruce Bochy, they know how to win. Manages
the game just so beautifully. So congratulations to the Texas Rangers. And it does kind of highlight for you the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
First time ever they've won the NBA championship. The Texas Rangers.
There you go.
The first time they've ever won a championship. Does that allow you to creep into your mind the fact that the Detroit Lions could be the team that wins their first Super Bowl championship? Hell, maybe this is the year for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. You just never know. But when you see stories like this, when you see franchises like this, it does give you hope.
100%, it gives you hope, but this also too, Ryan, it goes back to being ready. The teams that have the right coaches, the teams that get the right players, the teams that make moves when they need to make those moves, those teams that are ready when their opportunity comes, they strike while the iron is hot. And the Detroit Lions are one of those teams right now. They built it up the right way. We even say we like the move that was made. Hey, right player, right price. If that player wasn't there for that price, Donovan Peoples-Jones was there. So they're making moves to show you that they care. You just got to be one of those teams at the end. Baseball shows you that. Hockey definitely shows you that. You just got to be one of those teams. You just got to punch your ticket. Once you get into the dance, man, it's a whole new season for any team involved. So, shout out, congratulations to the Rangers. I think this put pressures on the Dallas Cowboys, though.
Yeah, right.
Because if you've ever been to Dallas, if you've ever seen how their parks work, there's like this beautiful layout in Dallas or Arlington, excuse me, where the Dallas Stadium is right here. You walk through the parking lot, there's this nice bridge, and it walks you over right to the Rangers park. So you're looking at fans and the Rangers that are looking at the Cowboys like, we had to get a win from the Rangers before we got a win from the Cowboys. Puts a lot of pressure on the Cowboys, but yeah, 100%. This is the year, and this is the year of upset.
You know, one of the Vegas Golden Knights won in hockey last year. Sean DeBoer said that. So do we have right now 3 reigning first-year champions? That's right. God, how did I forget about that? Sean DeBoer, thank you so much in the WoodwardSports.com chat, and of course the YouTube chat. The Vegas Golden Knights, the Denver Nuggets, and now the Texas Rangers. 3 reigning champions have won for the first time. That next championship is, of course, the Super Bowl.
100%. And you think about it, all the teams that you just named, what did they have happen? Their best players on the team played their best in the playoffs and in those championship runs. You look at the Golden Knights. You look at what the Nuggets did. You look at what the Rangers did. Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager. I mean, you're looking at, Jokic and Jamal Murray, and then you're looking at what happened with the other team we named, the Golden Knights. My apologies. So their best players played the best when they had to be the best. Detroit Lions, you're on the clock.
No doubt about it. Speaking of the best, Bob Knight was one of the best, Braylon.
Yeah.
He passed away last night at the age of 83 years old, and one of the true treasures, I think, of our generation and those that preceded us was a lightning rod of a coach. I think people either loved him or hated him, but you did have a strong opinion on him one way or another. First, one NCAA championship, three-time NCAA champion as a coach, one as a player, 5 Final Fours, Big Ten 11 times Big Ten champion, 3-time Coach of the Year, a Hall of Famer. He is an absolute legend. Were there some tumultuous times at the end there? Yes. Is he a complicated person? It seemed like that. But Braylon, from the people that knew him the best, you see how revered he was by them. And I think as I sit back and try to evaluate what somebody is or who somebody is, I look at the company he keeps.
Yeah.
And when Isaiah Thomas is walking out there arm in arm with you in 2020 and all this stuff, man, I love the fact that his former players and the people that loved him the best knew him the best, loved him the most.
If you want to be honest, look, if guys want to try to tear him down, the type of coach he was, the type of person he was, look, the era in which he coached, it was just completely different. You cannot try to understand that era having the energy that you have in 2023 and relate it to 1970, relate it to 1980s. If you want to punish Bobby Knight, okay, get in line. Here comes Lou Holtz, punish him. Here comes Bo Schembechler, punish him. Here comes Bobby Bowden. Here comes Joe Paterno. Here comes insert coach here.
Coach K.
Insert coach here that was coaching that era. They had a lot of things that would not exist today. But this ain't today. This is back then. And back then, he was a legend. He was a guy that got those guys going. Guys don't win 3 national championships in basketball. Like, you're talking about a very short list of guys that have done that. You're talking Dean Smith. You're talking about Duke, Mike Krzyzewski. You're talking about John Wooden. Short list of guys that have done that. And then also as a player, you're talking about a guy who coached Mike Krzyzewski. If you just look at the genius that has come from him, Isaiah Thomas is coaching as a player. You look at Mike Krzyzewski, the greatest coach of all time, arguably.
Mike Woodson.
Says a lot about who Bobby Knight was. And even after everything that happened in Indiana, he goes down to Texas Tech, continues to coach, and he breaks the all-time record and then retires. So, hell of a coach. As a man, it's not for me to decide who he was, but as a leader of men, he's a damn good one.
You know, would you want to play for Coach Knight? Was a question that I heard today. And it's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to that is really telling to who you are a little bit as a person. I think for those people that say they wouldn't want to play for Coach Knight, I do question a little bit of that, because this is a guy who 80% of his players graduated when the national average at the time was 40%.
Yeah.
For those that played for 4 years for him, 98% of those players graduated. Those are numbers. He had never had one NCAA violation in 40 years as a head coach in basketball. Right. I mean, these things continue to come up. I'd like you to answer that question if you could. Next, we'll get into the Michigan allegations and this need for really ESPN and some of the national media to just want to bury Jim Harbaugh. And I guess the question that I have is why? Why is that? So we'll get into all that. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Dispo.
Your local plug. Now Romeo Dispo open till midnight. Michigan's largest cannabis mall, 21 and up. Also recreational only, but it doesn't matter because they got the best brands, the best edibles, the best flour, the best oil that you can get. 12 locations around the state, Dispo is, but guess what? Dispo Romeo just hits a little bit different. Open till midnight. Go check it out. Michigan's largest cannabis mall. Your local plug.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. All you have to do is visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. I actually got my pork chops from there last night. They were unbelievable. Those Berkshire pork chops, are you kidding me? Forget it. Hey, if you can't make it in person, you can order online. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Prime cut, aged, packed, sourced to perfection.
Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Masway out today. We do have Parker. We got JB. Team's all here thinking about you. Maz is in Jersey for a family wedding, so he's having some fun there. We absolutely love that when he gets a chance to see Sammy Maz at 96 years old.
I love the stories about Sammy Maz. I always tell him everything is rigged.
No, everything is rigged.
It's all rigged.
Oh, yeah. Game tonight, rigged.
It is. Last night, it was rigged.
Rigged.
that boxing match with Tyson Fury, rigged.
Rigged. Oh, God. Hey, guys, we're going to get to Michigan football in just 1 second, but just continuing on with Bobby Knight here. Braylon, would you want to play for Bobby Knight?
Knowing what I know, no, but hear me out on that. Listen, Bobby Knight, he put hands on players. There was a lot of altercation situations with fisticuffs. Look, now how he coached his guys, it's a different era. It's a different day. That might have been accepted. My dad played for Bo Schembecker, though. My father has never told me anything about Bo putting hands on him or doing anything like that. But I've heard a lot of other alums that play with my father saying he kicked him in the butt, said some words that blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So it's just a different era. Like, I had Coach Carr. It was like Coach Carr was a perfect type of coach for me in terms of whether he knew how to put me in the corner. He knew how to, get under my skin. He knew how to not compliment me when I felt like I needed to be complimented or I deserved, a compliment or a good pat on the back. So he was a very old school coach in that approach. He was just the right type of old school coach because knowing how I am, you put your foot on me, I'd forego my scholarship, and there's going to be some problems.
Yeah, see, I understand that and appreciate that point of view. You coach for the time that you're in. Even, I'm 44 years old. I'm not 84 or 64 or anything like that. I'm 44 years old. When I played in high school, if you wanted to get a water break, you were a wuss. And you work
me
tough.
too. Same.
I know, but that's what I think. Like, you coach for the time you're. Now, if you deny somebody a water break, you're going to jail. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So you coach for the time that you're in. Bob Knight coached at the time he was in. Would he be able to coach that way in 2023? Hell no. I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, the player would show up late and you say, can you show up on time next time? No, I'm out. You know what I mean? These kids today, I just don't understand them. But no, no, but again, I always go back to what the people who know you the best think of you. And that's seen in 2020, and I invite everybody to go to social media and find out when Bobby Knight came out to Assembly Hall for one last time at the Indiana team reunion. You see how all those grown men revere that man, and it's something that gave me goosebumps. I actually put it on my Twitter at Ryan Ermanni Fox 2.
Yeah, no, it's definitely dope. But you're looking at it situation. A lot of those men, man, they're coming from broken homes. They're coming from poverty. They're coming from single parent homes. A lot of them, they come to college, and Bobby Knight and many coaches like him, they're father figures. They help. You, they teach, and so it's like no matter what, it's like our fathers. I don't care what my father does. Like, it doesn't matter. He's my father. I've never had to worry about that. But when you have that father figure like that, it allows you to get away with more as a coach in that era. So
that's a great point.
I appreciate him. I respect him. You heard what I said about him. He's definitely one of the best, and I admire everything he's done. But just knowing me, like, if you would have put hands on me, I would have put hands back, and I'd get kicked out.
I think that's a pretty fair take. Yeah. Guys, want to get to the latest in the Jim Harbaugh, actually should say the ESPN versus Jim Harbaugh, because that's really what it seems like right now. There's all these leaks and everything that's getting to Pete Thamel, whatever this guy's name is, but he's on ESPN. His latest report says a vast majority of Big Ten coaches expressed their frustration with ongoing signal stealing investigation at Michigan, with the commissioner Tony Petitti. I think that's how you say his name, Bray.
Right, Tony Petitti.
And here's a source, an anonymous source. Says, collectively, the coaches want the Big Ten to act. What are we waiting on? We know what happened. Do we? And how do we know this is true, to be honest with you? This Pete Thamel is reporting through a source that says the Big Ten coaches want the Big Ten to act on Michigan.
Right.
I just forgot where this investigation is over. Did I not get the memo?
Did you get it? No, they convicted him. They came to an agreement.
Parker, JB,
there was a sentence. There was a sentence passed.
No, not this one. Nope.
There was a sentence.
I got nothing in my hands, so I didn't get anything.
There was a sentence passed.
None of these papers you guys gave me is the investigation.
But
you guys got it back there?
I got it.
Oh,
I'll bring it up.
But let me ask a question, Ryan and Ermanni, if you would indulge me for a second.
Yeah.
So these grown men, head coaches, who all have, they all have. It was joking, right? Parker, get your ass back in the booth. Get in the booth. So these grown men that have their own Twitter accounts, who can speak for themselves, they have their own college coaching shows. All of them do I believe they all shoot on Monday after the weekend. So Ryan Day, has he come out and said that, when are they going to prosecute Michigan? Has James Franklin said anything? Has Luke Fickell from Wisconsin said anything? Has Matt Rule, who actually came out in the beginning, said everybody still signs? Do you remember that? Out of Nebraska. Has he come out and said anything? These are grown men and institutions. If they felt that way, they would definitely come out and say it. Sources say. Here's ESPN. ESPN is never like Jim Harbaugh. There's no secret. Heather Dinich, the whole nine, Paul Feinbaum, yada, yada, yada. He said one nice thing about Michigan last week and then took it back this week. At the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh likes Fox. Fox likes Jim Harbaugh. They have a relationship. ESPN does. They just keep dropping the same thing with nothing behind it. Sources say, who are these sources? Coaches say they want to come together. Then they would do it. Like what's all these sources to continue to compile? There's nothing even new. And when did it come to a halt?
And was Jim Harbaugh on that call last night?
Oh,
and did you say it to his face?
Exactly. Did you?
I mean, these are things that are very basic questions. I think Braylon Edwards, what you just asked, is a very basic question.
Yeah.
James Franklin is a grown man.
Grown man.
Ryan Day is also a grown man.
Grown man.
If you want the Big Ten to act,
step up
on information that you absolutely know is factually true, the floor is yours. You don't need to go through Pete Thamel or Heather Dinich or Paul Feinbaum or any of these other national journalists. I tweeted this out today too because it just irks me. Mm-hmm. You have these people, these national reporters who take journalism so seriously. Okay, well, if you want to take this situation and this story so seriously, can you wait for the investigation to be over? Because these are the 3 points that I know are true, okay? Above any other salacious information, all the rumors, all the innuendo, there are only 3 things we know that are true.
Yeah.
1, the NCAA investigation is not complete. 2, the NCAA Committee on Infractions has nothing in front of them. 0. And 3, Michigan has not been able to provide a response to any of these allegations per NCAA rules.
You know what we don't know?
Those are the only 3 things that we know are true.
You know what we don't know is Greg Schiano comes out after the Rutgers game, and what does he say? He says, there was something weird going on. We got to figure out what that was. What was going on that was weird? Like who told you something was going on? Who was this person that told you what was going on? What was going on? Like that random statement, something weird's going on here, and we're going to figure it out. Who told you and what was it? When you talk about Sonny Dykes, head coach of TCU, who comes out, he comes out months later after this comes out, this random allegations of sign stealing and all this. Now he comes out and says, yeah, we knew they were stealing signs, but we were alerted to it. Who alerted you to you, and what did they say? What was the procedure? What was going on? How were you able to change your signs? How did they know where to look? Who was this person that told you what they were doing? Because if it's one person, it's more. They knew something clearly, but all you said was we were alerted to they were doing something like that, and so we changed our signs up. We were alerted that they were doing something like that, and you have the nerve to say this 10 months after you beat Michigan? What? Who alerted you?
The thing is, if you really think about it, if all this is so illegal in the Big Ten's eyes and Ohio State and Penn State's eyes, if Connor Stallion had these people show up to these games with the phone up and recording the game, wouldn't you think a security guard would have done something if it was that wrong? Isn't that also a rule where you're not technically supposed to record
I don't know, Parker. I can't imagine.
Know about that one, but.
There's 100,000 people at these games. I can't imagine. I've been to a lot of college football stadiums. Yeah. I can't imagine not seeing somebody go like this for 4 hours.
They're scouting.
And not saying something.
They're scouting.
Can I ask another thing? And this is leading us into probably to the next segment. I know we got to talk to Josh Hink, and we can maybe get into that as well. But then this goes back to the old adage, maybe he didn't know or blah, blah, blah. I'm always said on record, something that egregious goes on, somebody has to know something. With that being said, one of the first questions we asked about him just being this rogue, obsessed individual, or upset. You found a 600-page manifesto about him wanting to be a head coach, how to be a head coach at the University of Michigan. Who's to say that this thing? A lot of the people can't talk on it. A lot of it, and have they verified if that was Connor Stallions on the sideline not for CMU?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually been 100% factual and
they threw that out there and then kind of left it hanging. I don't
even know if that's him.
No valid, no verification.
I am starting to move along the side of that is him, because
agreed.
By now I would think somebody would be like, that was me.
Right.
If that was Connor Stallion, that means Central Michigan's security absolutely sucks and doesn't know.
And then Jim McElwain tried to say he didn't even know what was going on.
And here's why all this is all just complete nonsense to begin with. You know what? We don't know. They don't know. ESPN doesn't know. Nobody freaking knows. Right. Why is it so unpopular to wait?
Yeah.
The working I don't consider myself a journalist.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a journalist at all. I am, what I do here is I am an opinion sports commentary person. And my commentary on this, my hypothesis on this is next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Yes, Big Boy. Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. It's burger time, everybody. Try the best cheeseburger or their new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Craving chicken? Try the Dolly chicken sandwich, or turn up the heat with the Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Upgrade your regular fries with their chili cheese or loaded baked potato fries. And don't forget, you gotta save room for dessert, because have they had a treat for you? Their Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake, or satisfy your sweet tooth with their funnel cake fries. All that and more at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it, you can live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy your Cintron from your local Meyer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. You can go to the website drinkcintron.com/Vegas for that $100,000 Vegas getaway.
Guys, Terry Foster gave me a statement from Jim Stapleton. Jim Stapleton sent Terry a statement from the NCAA. The NCAA Vice President of Hearing Operations, Derek Crawford, had a statement as well. Just Jim Stapleton says he is not the leaker in all this information. They don't even have anything in front of them in terms of his committee. He's recused from that committee when it comes to all things Michigan. I did want to put that out there, that Stapleton denies anything to do with this leaking that's going on. It was not anything different from the statement he gave last week, but the NCAA Committee on Infractions does not have anything Michigan related, sign stealing related, before this committee at this time right now. Do we have Josh? We have Josh. Let me go to Josh here. Let's go to Josh Henschke, the publisher of Michigan Rivals on the Rivals Network. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing great, fellas. How are you?
You know what, Josh? I'm actually starting to get a little pissed off here. I am, and I'm just, whether it's Pete Thamel
cool off, brother,
or Heather Dinich or Paul Feinbaum, and the thing that bothers me the most is these three in particular. They don't come off as commentary people. They consider themselves serious journalists here, right. And I think that's the biggest problem that I have. And I tweeted this out today. What they are doing by prosecuting and wanting to bury Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan football team without due process, and I know this is not a court of law, but it's really starting to bother me that the NCAA has not finished their investigation. The NCAA Committee of Infractions does not have anything sign stealing related on Michigan in front of them at the moment. Michigan has not responded to this, and all they want to do is push this narrative that the Big Ten better act and better act now. What in the world is going on?
Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
Do I have that part accurate, though, Josh? Am I off base with that kind of assertion at the moment?
I think, it's obvious now that the lead, or at least the main sources coming out of this are coaches from around the conference, and you can kind of make your best guesses as to who those guys might be.
Shiano and Ryan Day.
It's basically what everyone's trying to do is
and Luke
really
Fickle.
Trying to get the. I don't know. Maybe it's Fickle, but I think those two you said before are pretty good guesses.
Yeah.
But I think, it's clear that they're trying to really get this mob mentality going, and Michigan hasn't received anything from the NCAA, and I'm not sure even what the NCAA has from an evidence standpoint either. But I mean, it's clear that these guys are not afraid to run to the media, but, when asked in a public setting, kind of scuttle away from the questions. I do think that's interesting too. So if it's that big of a deal that you're willing to run to, your local reporter behind the scenes, I feel like this would be something that you'd really want to put your foot down publicly and, make a big deal out of it. If this really is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be.
Josh Henschke, let me talk to you like this. I believe myself. I believe what I believe. I believe that this is. I believe that's a song. I believe that it's a cartoon. I think it's a donkey from Shrek. But anyway, I believe that this is. Not going to say not a nothing burger, but at the same time, I believe it's under the line of what's legal, what's not. Let's just say, let me do my professionalism. I'm supposed to do my job. What if Jim Harbaugh and this? What if this is connected? What if Connor Stallions, Jim Harbaugh, everybody's connected? It's interconnected. It is a web of spies. Jim Harbaugh definitely was in the know on it. What if this? And once again, this is speculative. This is figuring things out on the other side. I'm playing devil's advocate. What if it all comes to be true? What is the deserved punishment you believe Michigan will face from the NCAA?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask because there's really not much precedence when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, I mean, if this is really, if that scenario that you laid out comes to fruition and,
right.
and we're not really expecting that to happen, but if it did and Jim Harbaugh knew and this was a directive from the top, I guess it all comes down to, what kind of rules were broken, and obviously there's got to be some consequences to that. And I think, that kind of stuff is probably something that you really can't come back from if that's like if that's an operation that you're doing.
Right.
We're probably talking, loss of job territory here, but as far as like an NCAA standpoint, I don't really know what they're going to do, or if they feel like any rules are broken or the spirit of the rules are broken, which are two entirely different things in itself that can be kind of interpreted in whatever way you want. So, if it does turn out to be that this was some, calculated, effort by the entire program to essentially, steal signs and game plans and film and all that kind of stuff, then you're probably getting into some territory where heads are needing to roll, so to speak.
Talking to Josh Henschke, publisher of Michigan Rivals on the Rivals Network. Josh, what do we know about this new report from Thamel today? Sources tell him that Big Ten coaches want the Big Ten to have some sort of discipline against Michigan last night. Do we know if Jim Harbaugh was on the call? Do we know if this happened when Harbaugh was on the call? Do we know if this happened at all?
Yeah, so the from my understanding, the Big Ten coaches as well as Big Ten ADs have a weekly phone call. So they get together and the conference updates the coaches and ADs about what's going on. So from my understanding from that call, Jim Harbaugh hung up and got off the phone so they could kind of discuss the NCAA and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of when everyone had their Festivus airing of grievances, so to speak, and complaining to the Big Ten commissioner. So as far as whether the Big Ten is going to act or not, I'm under the impression that they're not, at least not before the NCAA acts. I mean, Michigan doesn't have a notice of allegations yet or anything like that. So, the Big Ten acting ahead of the NCAA would be really unprecedented. And I'm not sure if they, if they would have anything that the NCAA doesn't to, jump and undercut them in their investigation, so to speak, and do something about it. So, this wasn't some special phone call where everyone started complaining about, the sign stealing stuff. I mean, this was just a regularly scheduled call where they took some time out, where a number of coaches were complaining. So, I don't know how many coaches complained or who had an input or what, but, it's coming increasingly clear who is
driving
who's
this.
making these. Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Commissioner Petitti is no idiot, man. This is year one for him and his campaign as the Big Ten commissioner. And at the end of the day, Michigan is the brand in the Big Ten. We've seen this over and over again with Ohio State too. When Ohio State had their things, Big Ten was like, we don't see anything until we're made to do something. So, as it relates to the Big Ten, in my estimation, there's nothing going on. There's nothing Petitti can do, especially not in year one.
Hey, Josh, let me ask you about, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, Jesse Minter, Michigan defensive coordinator, spoke with the media in his weekly time slot, and one of the things he said is, I wish we could speak on it.
Yeah.
For people out there who can't understand why Michigan hasn't responded yet, can you summarize for them why Michigan cannot come out and share their side of things yet?
Yeah, so basically when you're under an NCAA investigation, you're basically under a gag order, so you can't speak publicly on any allegations. I know obviously Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh came out with statements, but that's pretty much as far as they can really go in terms of speaking publicly during a NCAA investigation. I mean, they're not just sitting on their hands and taking their lumps. I mean, yes, they'd obviously would love to defend themselves and love to talk about it, but they just can't. Maybe they can, go the route of other coaches and go through reporters, but they can't come out and speak publicly about any of this right now. And I'll be really interested to see what they have to say once this is all said and done, whenever that is. So, but I mean, they're not just sitting on their hands just because they want to. I mean, they're forced to do it.
Talking to our boy J.H., publisher of Michigan Rivals, and that stands for Josh Hinsky, not Jim Harbaugh. Josh, quick question. You just brought it up, talking about Ward Manuel, talking about Jim Harbaugh. Where in all of this is their relationship? Because their relationship hasn't been the best over the years. Reportedly, once again, there's those. But we actually have sources for that. John U. Bacon's a good friend of the show. He told us that about that early on in the year. Where's their relationship now as they're dealing with this and potentially whatever else?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, everyone's on the same page, and that includes President Sanaono. I know those two, Sanaono and Ward Manuel, have worked diligently towards, figuring everything out with this investigation. I know the regents are on the same page, and they're working towards getting a new contract done for Jim Harbaugh. So, from my understanding, I mean, everyone's on the same page. I don't think there's anything. There's no factions or anything like that. I think everyone's kind of working towards this goal of just getting this done and cleared up so everyone can kind of move on and, on to bigger and better things.
Hey, Josh, talk to me about Connor Stallions for a minute. Obviously, one of the things that came out also in the last couple of days is this picture on the CMU sidelines. Whether it's him, whether it's not him, Jim McElwain, the head coach, says his name wasn't on the pass list. I have no idea what's going on there. Do we have confirmation that was him? I didn't think it was at first, but now I'm like, well, if that wasn't him, then maybe somebody would come out and say, hey, that was me. What do we make of that?
Yeah, well, my first thought is that first screenshot that came out, I thought that was Dylan Larkin in Central Michigan gear. It looked exactly like him.
Right?
That's funny. That's funny. They did like Dylan Larkin.
I mean, that one's kind of an interesting situation, too, because we were told that there was going to be evidence coming out that he was going to be on the sidelines of that game. I didn't expect it to be kind of like Zapruder film level stuff of in-game screenshots. But if that is indeed him, that's a pretty wild disguise that he's got on. I mean, you're talking about someone who has a beard and hair where, a guy that doesn't necessarily have hair, it's a whole thing. I mean, I know more about this guy than I ever thought I would.
Right.
But that's just kind of where we're at right now. And obviously, if it is him, now you're kind of getting Central Michigan involved in this thing, and it's just going to get messy. But I mean, it's just that's kind of the big thing that needs to come out next. I mean, I feel like from a Central Michigan standpoint, that would kind of be easy to figure out. If there was an investigation needed, then there was probably some doubts that no one can identify him within the program, because I feel like someone would come out and say, "Oh, hey, you know, that's Phil from the equipment team," you know, something that could be ruled out really easily. So I don't know what they're trying to investigate, but obviously if that ends up being him, that opens up a brand new layer. I don't necessarily know if it opens up a brand new layer for Michigan, but him in particular, because now you can kind of make the argument was, okay, is he helping Central Michigan scout? You know, what is he doing there? And obviously it's a bad look all around. A guy who is employed by another university should not be on the sidelines of another university's game, especially one that, not to mention an in-state rival, but a conference opponent too. It's just a bad look overall. So I'll be curious to find out what Central Michigan says. But I mean, it's easy to say that he wasn't on the guest list pass. Well, obviously, you know, if that's who we think it is, then yeah, they're not going to have his name on a pass list.
Right.
So, but there's a lot of layers to this thing that we still need to sift through.
Hey, Josh, last question. Where do we stand with Santa Ono and Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel and any sort of extension for Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, there is no roadblocks between Harbaugh and Michigan to get a deal done. From my understanding, before there was a pause with the NCAA investigation, they had agreed to terms. There was no physical contract presented. So I don't know what that timeline looks like in terms of getting that contract in front of him to sign. Jim Harbaugh is notoriously someone who is locked into the season, doesn't want to talk about contracts, because any time spent talking about a contract could be time spent towards preparing for the next opponent. So, I mean, it helps that he has lawyers and people representing him now, so you can kind of got that buffer in between. But you know, as far as a looming extension, I mean, there is a effort to you know, fast track this extension, but I'm not sure what the timeline of a fast track looks like, so to speak. But there appears to be some optimism that this thing will get done sooner rather than later.
Josh, you want to hear my working theory right now? My working
Absolutely.
synopsis.
I've heard everything.
This is my working synopsis right now at the moment.
Okay.
And again, the more information I have, the
more informed decision you can make.
The more informed decision I can make, and I can always change my mind.
Gotcha.
Here's what I think so far.
I'm listening.
Sign stealing itself is not illegal. Everybody tries to do it. That's why you have coaches talk like this into the microphone, and why you have 5 quarterbacks on the sidelines doing different signals. This Connor Stallions guy comes. Here's this really smart military background decoder of sorts. This guy says he can help you. I know I can do it so fast. I can decode these signs and I can help you. Great. Come on.
Prove it.
So maybe they were getting the information, but they didn't know how he was getting the information, and that's what I think happened right now. And the money thing, I don't think they're going to find any money thing. You know, yes, he made $55,000 a year, but he's got his own money. He's got his own money. That much I do know.
And
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I crazy?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard so many varying opinions and thoughts. I don't think it's too crazy. I mean, there is a realistic scenario that, you know, he did this on his own to get a leg up in the university, and obviously, you know, it's still not a good look for Michigan either way. But you know, there's still so many unknowns out there right now that can be linked back to the program, can't be linked back to the program. So we don't really know what the NCAA has,
right?
Or what they think
exactly. So totally. Absolutely. You're right. You're right.
And that's the biggest thing, Josh, is, you know, we do our jobs. We're professional, much like yourself. You follow what's going on. You read it, so you're up to date. You make your opinions. You post your posts. Same thing with us. We talk about it every day because everybody's talking about it every day, and we feel like if we don't do it, we look like some biased Michigan individuals. So we're going to talk about it every day, but it's really nothing to talk about.
There's nothing new.
It's nothing new. So it's like we're beating a dead horse,
Right.
but we appreciate being able to beat that dead horse with you, sir.
Amen to that. Check out Josh. You can follow him on Twitter. He's the publisher of Michigan Rivals on Rivals Network. Josh Henschke, everybody. Thanks so much, Josh. We appreciate it, bud.
Josh, appreciate you, buddy.
Of course, anytime. I appreciate it.
You got it, my friend. All right, guys. We got to take a break. When we come back, more college football. We'll get into the NFL, too. We've got a Top 10 Thursday. We've got Around the NFL. We've got a little Pistons basketball,
got
too.
some
Yes,
stuff.
we've got it all today. Coming up, but first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
The number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like a landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located on Woodward Avenue in Ferndale, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. If you want a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford has all GM brands. All of them. All under one umbrella, too. Do you know where that is?
Where is that?
LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them. All right, Braylon Edwards.
Let's do something.
Just a little bit of reaction to what Josh Henschke had to say, and I think we're kind of all in the same boat here.
Yeah.
Look, I hear this a lot, too. Well, if Ohio State was doing it, you guys would feel the same way about them that they do about you. Yeah, probably. Sure. Probably. And they would feel the same way about them that we feel about our situation, perhaps. People's opinions as a general start are based on how they see the world, how they see the lens. Just look at Bobby Knight, for instance. We talked about Bobby Knight. There are people out there that think that Bobby Knight is the biggest scumbag in the world. And then there are people like Isaiah Thomas who sees things through Isaiah Thomas's lens, who would die for that man. Literally. Take lay before on the train tracks before you can get to that guy. That's how much he loves Bob Knight. So there are two sides to every story, and I welcome that, and I understand that. And if you want to call us cheaters, fine, go for it. But I will say, if Michigan goes out there and whips Penn State and whips Ohio State, what is your excuse going to be? Because it cannot be the sign stealing at this point. It just can't be. that's on you.
Yeah, my big thing with the whole situation is, one, it's over. There's nothing to talk about. But as it relates to if Ohio State was the one that was under the microscope, I still approach the thing from the same way. I'm an athlete. I'm a former player. I would approach it the same way. Ryan, if the tables were turned and it was Ohio State, the same way we won the last 2 years, had won the last 2 years, you know what I would tell you? Signs do not take away the physicality in the trenches. Mm-hmm. Signs do not allow your defensive line to beat up your offensive line. Signs don't allow your offensive line to manhandle somebody's defensive line. They impose their will on Ohio State the last 2 years. Those 2 touchdowns with J.J. McCarthy in Ohio State, those are one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. If you miss the tackle, it is a touchdown. And guess what happened, Ryan? Missed the tackle both times. It turned into a touchdown. If that would have been the same case, I'd be like, hey, look, it's man-to-man coverage. Hey, Will Johnson slipped down. Marvin Harrison made a touchdown. Hey, if it was the way that Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo dominated that defensive line, I say, hey, boy, Michigan, we got to get our weight up on the offensive line. They dominated in the trenches. If this game's where it's evenly matched, you're not seeing domination. You're seeing some things that could be sketchy. You're seeing a win by 3 on some sketchy stuff. Then it makes sense. But when you just see the domination on the line of scrimmage, this is what players look at. When you see the domination and how Michigan's dominating, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I just don't even understand how you can make that an allegation at this point, or
because you're desperate.
It's got to be.
It's desperation.
Right?
Michigan is ascended like Goku in Dragon Ball Z, went Super Saiyan, and they can't catch up.
But even at this point, right? I mean, if you're Georgia, if you're Alabama, if you're Oklahoma or Texas or any of these at Washington, Oregon, any of these other teams that are in the running for the national championship at this point, I just keep going back to what is going to be the excuse, because at this point the sign stealing has to be thrown away. If you want to wipe out the last 2 years of Ohio State, if you want to do that, I disagree with you, but I'll let you have your moment. If you want to blame sign stealing on that, I will let you have your moment. Go for it, guys. But if that happens again this year, what are you going to blame?
Well, they scouted the signs before the season. They already had them. They somehow had a guy in training camp, or they had a guy in spring ball, and they figured out our signs. And it's going to be a bunch of baloney, man. It's going to stay that way. At the end of the day, Michigan's on top right now. You look at the teams around the country. Yeah, they're cooperating, because also something that Jim Harbaugh did is he pissed off all the other coaches that wanted to keep the status quo, wanted to keep the players not being played, wanted to keep the players a slave to the rhythm that had been the NCAA for the beginning of the existence till then. But Jim Harbaugh said, no, we're going to give them a percentage of the TV deal. What? You're going to give the kids a percentage of the TV deal?
Right.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's not with us. Jim Harbaugh's not on the team. He's not a good old boy. He's not playing ball with the rest of us. So now whenever we have a chance, we'll bury him. And the chance comes when they want to bury him. And also they're talking about, well, they shouldn't be allowed, because if they cheated, then they're going to take away a spot from a team that deserved it. If the team deserved it, they'd get the spot. If the team deserved it, they would get the spot. Those are people that are going to lose a game in their division, and they're hoping to get that spot. Give me a break. I can't wait to beat Penn State, Ohio State, and wherever the hell else we play the rest of the year by a lot.
And that's a mic drop on that topic. We'll go around the NFL. We'll talk Lions. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Swiss.
Yes, Swiss Insurance. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has already been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com, or as always, give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Just because fall is here doesn't mean you can't stop working on that golf swing. Come on down to 5 Iron Golf, located at the Cambria Home, downtown Detroit. Sim rentals, lessons, leagues, bar, food is good. And also, those brand new TrackMan simulators, you can play any course from around the world, whether it's St. Andrews all the way down to Augusta. You can play at a practice party, and they also got coaches. So you can come in and you get your golf on. You get your game up, actually, in the winter is what you do. Come on Thursdays. That's today, 5 to 7 is Woodward Sports Golf League. Come down, hang out. Then you let it carry you into Thursday night football. Tonight, I think we have the Titans and the Steelers. Not a bad game. We'll see what Will Levis have. Come on down. 5 Iron Golf. Practice the way you want to play.
Brad and I said from day one, man, we have a plan in place that we don't want to alter. We don't want to mess with that. And we're in year 3 of this right now, or beginning of year 3, and everything had to be right. I just go back. It had to be the right player, it had to be the right fit, and it had to be the right price. All 3 of those, and that's not an easy thing to do, but that's how we look at it. And so, you know what? We found one.
Woodward Sports Network on a Thursday, November 2nd. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway out today and tomorrow. He's in Jersey for a family wedding. We hope he's having a great time there. We got Parker, we got JB. I do want to talk a little Lions.
You think he's partying?
Oh, yeah, he's partying, man.
He's got like the gold chain.
Oh, yeah,
he's got
big
the hair
league.
chest
oh,
open.
yeah, big league.
He's got the sport coat on.
But that's how he does it. That's how he
Slapping
rolls,
people
man.
around.
That's how he rolls for sure.
Rolex.
No doubt.
Nah, it wouldn't be a Rolex.
For
It'd be like
sure.
an Invictus. Invicta.
Where's my money?
Right.
Where's my money?
Where's my money? Where's my money? Bray, Thursday Night Football tonight. We'll get to that in a minute. But for the Lions, they do have some time off now to sit back, reflect, and look at where they have been in the first half of the season. And now is a time, we talk about this a lot, in the second half of the last 9 games of the year, health has been such a big part of this team. They have played the hardest part of their schedule. They have gotten to the hardest through the hardest part of their schedule with a 6-2 record, and they've done so with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
If they can get healthy and stay healthy here in the second half, Bray, there's a lot of great things ahead for this team.
Yeah, and I think that's why you hear Dan Campbell talk about we are where we want to be. You know, we have a plan and we're going to execute. You know, that plan is the draft picks that they drafted, Ryan Ermanni, since 2021, whether it was Penei Sewell or Alex Anzalone. It's 2022 when they took Aiden Hutchinson, they took Herbie Joseph, and they had the draft that they did there. It was 2023 when they had the draft that they did, and we saw one of those players, the first pick, and Jahmyr Gibbs have his coming out party this past Monday night. It's also the players they picked up in the offseason. It's Cam Sutton who got a game ball. It's CJ GJ who gave us some hope that he will be back soon. It's guys like that that are going to make this team exactly where they want to be. And you look, like you said, they've gotten through the hardest stretch of their schedule right now. They're 6-2. They lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Seahawks. Both those teams are in contention to be in the NFC Conference Championship and the AFC Conference Championship. So there's nothing to sneeze at. And now they have the part of their schedule where they can just continuously get better and start to steamroll. You hit the nail on the head. It's about getting guys healthy, and I think Dan Campbell has done a pretty good job of that in terms of when to take a player out of the game, when to sit Amon-Ra St. Brown, when to play Amon-Ra St. Brown, when to rush Dave Montgomery back, when not to rush Dave Montgomery back. I think he's done a very good job of that, and I think you're going to start to see this thing really take off. When you get these bye weeks and you get a chance to rest and sit down and chill and breathe, and you actually assess where you are, especially if you're where you want to be, all it does is refuel you from your initial goal during training camp, where you want to be. It refuels you like, oh, man, you talk about it. And now we're here, and now we're right where we want to be. They're going to refuel themselves. They'll stay here. They'll get it going, and they'll come out against the Chargers team, who is probably going to be a good test. But the Detroit Lions should be healthy and ready to rock and roll when they go out to SoFi.
And that was kind of the indication that I think Dan Campbell gave to the media that, with this next 2 weeks, they should get a little bit healthier and be ready to go against the Chargers in Los Angeles a week from Sunday. Bray, you look at the rest of the way, just the teams that are at the top with them right now. Philadelphia in the top spot. Detroit is second. And right now, Seattle at 5-2 has the top spot in the NFC West, which gives them the third spot in the NFC playoff picture. Seattle has 6 games to go against winning teams. Philadelphia has 6 games to go against winning teams. Do you know how many games the Lions have remaining against winning teams?
I believe I do.
1.
Yep.
And that is Week 16 at Dallas. Now, could that change? Could Minnesota creep up there at some point?
Denver?
Denver, I don't anticipate at 3-5. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. That could always fluctuate. But the combined record of the remaining opponents of the Detroit Lions are 29-40. That is about 7 or 8 games worse than the next highest competitor. And everything is just setting up for this second half to be one to remember.
It's definitely gonna be one to remember. It's funny, Ryan. I can't wait to bring back out my my preseason predictions on their wins and losses, Ryan, because I'm still right in line with what I want it to be. But the good thing about it is just watching the Lions. Here's something that people don't think about. Everybody wanted them to make a move. Me, I'm raising my hand. I want the Lions to make a move at the trade deadline. I thought it would be key to get somebody on the defensive line to really help give them that edge, pun intended, in this particular way. But when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, Ryan, and you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they add Frank Clark. They add Leonard Williams. They add Chase Young, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Ryan, one of the reasons why these teams made these moves, and I don't know if people thought about this, Seattle was trying to worry about San Francisco. San Francisco was trying to worry about Seattle. They're worrying about teams inside their own division. They're like, hey, I want to have the number 1 seed. I don't want to have to give them the home field advantage. That's one thing the Lions don't have to worry about. We're not worried about what Green Bay is doing. We're not worried about what Minnesota is doing. We damn sure aren't worried about what the Chicago Bears are worried about. So I think that's another thing that kind of had me stay paused and like, I got to keep trusting the mad scientist and Brad Holmes, because if you try to add somebody, if you try to add a piece, an expensive piece, or just to blow it up, just to say, hey, we added that piece and this pass rusher will give us this chance. Well, what did you give up for? What position? What pick did you give? How much money are you going to be tied to? How many years are you going to be tied to? How did this mess up the chi of the locker room, as they say? So looking at it from that point of view, sometimes you can't worry about what the Joneses do, because Seattle was worried about San Fran. San Fran was worried about Seattle. Meanwhile, Detroit Lions, we're watching them and we got them in our scope for the weeks to come.
Will you oblige me just 1 second?
Sure.
So the Lions are right now 6-2.
Sure.
Can I get a little music, JB? Thank you. A little beat. Just a little something to add a little pep in my step right now. There we go. Okay, perfect. You're gorgeous. Perfect. Braylon, Lions have 9 games to go. I'll give you the team.
Yep.
You tell me whether they're going to win or lose. We're going to reset this. Ready? At the Chargers.
They're going to win.
Win. Home against the Bears.
Win.
Home against the Packers.
Win.
At New Orleans.
Win.
At Chicago.
The New Orleans one is going to be a good game. I'm going to give them a win, but that's an asterisk win. That's going to be a damn good game.
Okay.
Chicago, they win.
Home against Denver.
They win.
At Minnesota.
Win.
At Dallas.
Not sure.
I'll give them a loss. Fair?
Oh, fair. That's fair.
And then home against Minnesota.
We're going to bench our players for that.
Or are we? You're going for a number 1 seed potentially.
Win.
That's 14-3.
I like that.
Currently, I have them 13-4. I have 13-4. Yeah.
So that's 14-3. That's a big boy number, and that is absolutely number 1 seed material.
Like that's beyond the big boy number. Like Ryan and Monty, like 12 is a big boy number. 13 is a big boy number. When you start to get to 14, when you're talking 3 losses, when you're talking 15, stuff like that, that's the type of team where you're like, okay, they're gonna make it. Just are they gonna win or not? Like when you, and I know 15-1 is way different than 14-3. But when you saw the Carolina Panthers go 15-1, you're like, they're going to make the Super Bowl, but are they going to win? Those are the type of numbers when you see, like, when you get in that's a different type of realm. That's, we got the confidence. Just can we win the Super Bowl?
The only game I'm really worried about besides Dallas is New Orleans. I mean, there's kind of that issue. I mean, I don't know. That might be another game where it might bring us a little bit down to earth where we lose 3 or 4 games this season.
That's Dan Campbell going back to New Orleans. Aaron Glenn going back to New Orleans. Anzalone going back to New Orleans.
I don't know. I just have
Ben
a weird
Johnson
feeling about
going
that game.
back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty good one.
I have an off feeling about it. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
The only thing that's weird about playing like New Orleans, and this is why they're just a weird team. They have good defensive players. They still got Marshawn Lattimore. He's still an excellent DB. You still got Cam Jordan. He's one of the best defensive ends, the best defensive lineman in the league, and has been for a very long time. You still got Demario Davis. Like, you got players. They're just weird. You got Taysom Hill doing trick stuff and coming in for weird plays, and you think he's on run and he throws a pass or a trick play. Derek Carr, you just never know. Is he going to have an inspired night where he's 383 and you're like, where the hell did that come from? Or is he going to be the Derek Carr that typically shows up where he's 214, but it's a bad 214? So I agree with you on Parker. That one's going to be, where are we at playing-wise when we get to that game? Will be very interesting.
Can you even believe we're having these conversations, by the way, about 14 wins and number 1 seed, 13 wins? If they win 12 games, seriously here for a minute. If the Lions win 12 games, won't you see that as a disappointment? I mean, honestly, with the 9 games they have left, where's their 3 losses? I don't see 3 losses in there. Aren't you disappointed if they lose 3 times in the next 9 weeks? I mean, based on the schedule, this is how these guys and Sheila Hamm and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Chris Spielman and Rod Wood, this is how they have not only changed the culture inside of Allen Park, they have changed it outside of Allen Park to the point where we're sitting here saying 12 wins kind of is a little unsatisfactory at this point in the game.
Like, Ryan, I've been on teams that have been winning teams. When I say winning teams, to the tune of 10-6, and I've been on teams that were 12-4. The difference with the teams that were 10-6, Ryan and Ermanni, is like you go into a game, you're like, yeah, they should win. But if you lose, it's kind of like, well, I mean, it's the NFL, it's any given Sunday, it's blah, blah, blah. And that's how you get to 10-6. But when you start getting to 11 and 12 and 13, the difference is we know we're going to win. You know why we know we're going to win? Usually we're going to have the best coach. Usually we're going to have the best quarterback. Usually we're going to have the best nucleus of a team. And usually we're going to be able to play 4 quarters, not 3, not 2, not a half. We're going to be able to play 4 quarters. And that's who the Detroit Lions are right now. They have a damn good coach. They have a nucleus. They have an identity. How many teams don't even have an identity? You talk about the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl for the last 5 years. Name me, what's their identity?
And they're on the way down.
Exactly. So we have an identity. You have a coach. You have players. You have young players. And you have veteran players as well. Like, this is how you win 13 games, and this is how you ride that energy into the playoffs and you do some damage.
Good stuff there, guys. I want to talk about the new Raiders head coach. Also, Thursday Night Football. Tonight, we'll do that next. After that, Top 10 Thursday. We got a full day packed for you here, continuing on in hour number 2. But first, a message from Feldman.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. With 18 locations, there is definitely a location near you or in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com. For 16 years, make it since 1996, my apologies. Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. So do yourself a favor. Take advantage.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey gang, I want to tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it, you could rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com. Weed whippers. All right, Braylon, Thursday night football tonight. Titans and Steelers. Interesting game here. Steelers at 2.5-point favorite at home. Will Levis gets the second start of his career for the Tennessee Titans after throwing 4 touchdown passes in his NFL debut, 3 of them to DeAndre Hopkins. But Braylon, I think fair to say, neither you or I were very impressed with Will Levis last year or the last 2 years at Kentucky, coming into this NFL draft, getting selected by Tennessee. But he did get the start. He did get the win. He looked pretty decent, and he was smart enough to throw it to his big-name guy in DeAndre Hopkins. So got to give him a little credit there. Does it continue tonight against that Pittsburgh Steelers defense and T.J. Watt?
Hey, listen, T.J. Watt is a monster. Obviously, right now, he's probably number 1 or 2 in the league, between Myles Garrett and himself and Micah Parsons. There's somewhere they're doing this whole trio of floating around 1 to 3, kind of like the first-person shooter song with Drake and J. Cole. But it's one of those things where Pittsburgh is so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like, Pittsburgh is so inconsistent, especially over the last 4 years. I could definitely see a game where Will Levis goes out there, finds D-Hop a couple times. Derrick Henry remembers that it's November, and this is when he starts to pick up steam, moving into the playoffs. I can see, Tajay Spears, who's a running back similar to Jahmyr Gibbs, a little bit out of Tulane, and finding a way to use him. Nick Westbrook, a decent wide receiver. So you can figure out a way for them to maybe have some success, and it's an ugly game, and Pittsburgh tricks it off to you. But, the reality is that Steelers defense, they're 4-2. Mike Tomlin has them playing well now. You're talking about a team for the season, right? What is it, 1-2?
Yep.
And we were like, oh, here it goes. It's 1-2. This is what we talked about. Mike Tomlin finally going under 100. Not so fast, Mike Tomlin says. So he's got those boys playing. He's got them dialed up. It's just a matter of that offense. And whether it's Kenny Pickett or whether it's Mitch Trubisky or whether it's Najee Harris, the offense just has not looked anything decent since Ben Roethlisberger left. So it'll probably be an ugly game. Wouldn't bet on Tennessee to win. However, you never know with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you might want to take the point to see what happens.
Neither of these two teams have found their franchise quarterback.
No.
I think that is safe to say.
Yeah.
I think we've seen enough from Kenny Pickett to know that he's not going to be the franchise guy in Pittsburgh. He's just not. He's a Pittsburgh kid. They'll hang on with him a little bit longer than they should. But Kenny Pickett is not going to compete with Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, or anybody else.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. He's just not going to be able to compete with those guys. And obviously, in our opinion, don't want to crap on the guy before he plays his second game in the NFL. Right. But I don't think that Will Levis is that guy either, just by the eye test. I'm not going to call him a bust or anything. He won his first game he's played. I don't feel like he is a franchise guy either. I could be wrong on that, but this is just an ugly, ugly game. When there's a nationally televised game, when the national game of the week, whether it's Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, features the Pittsburgh Steelers and or the Tennessee Titans, I just want to close my eyes and kind of look away. Tonight they play each other. I'm like, oh,
It's and it's on the broadcast that nobody seems to like it, and that's Al Michaels.
This might be the
and Kurt
worst
Hershey.
rated game of all time.
Definitely, but I will say this: let me give Will Levis some love. Maz gave him a lot of love on Monday. Will Levis is one of Maz's guys, and Will Levis for getting drafted in the second round after he could have been the number one pick. It definitely was going to win the lottery, and then was going to go in the first round. And then he drops out, and his family and had his back the whole 9 yards. To watch him come in there, be ready when they called his number and dial it up, that was good to see, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. This is the plus side of that. When you throw the ball to a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, like last week, Will Levis, he dropped back and he just let it fly. He was like, hey, look, man, I'm going to just throw it. Whatever happens, happens. And he had some success, and he even made a couple nice throws in there. When you see you have a guy, Ryan, like Ryan Ermanni, and you're just like, I'm just throw it, and he catches it, now you can start to dial in a little more. Now you're like, you know what if I actually took this serious? Like, what if I'm actually really studying to see how I can get guys on the backside of that as well? And then, excuse me.
Bless you.
And then when you have Derrick Henry, like Derrick Henry is a guy that's going to get
cough,
going.
actually, sorry.
It was
It wasn't a sneeze, it was a cough.
Cough you.
Parker?
I think the thing with Will Levis is not only did he just have a historic game last week, he's one of two quarterbacks who have thrown multiple touchdowns without fumbling or intercepting a ball in their rookie debut. The other quarterback being
Marcus Mariota at the Titans,
wearing number 8. But I think the question really revolving around Will Levis is that can he? I'm not expecting him to do the same thing. I'm not expecting him to exceed that. But can he keep the consistency up of playing good football with DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, we'll find out.
Just don't
We'll
turn
see.
the ball over.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, and
if he gives me 205, one touchdown and no turnovers, that's
Seriously.
all. Hey Parker, that's all you can really ask of a rookie guy like that after a game. Like, look, just give me 205, even 195, a touchdown, no turnovers. We can figure out the rest.
Yeah.
Defense got to step up and do something. Derrick Henry, we're paying all this money. We call you the king. Well, King, get your ass off the throne and give us some yards and get in the end zone. So like now it's time for that team to help Will Levis out. Now you see you may have something for the rest of the year.
Jags gonna run away with that division, no doubt about it.
For
and,
sure.
And does Tennessee even want to win games? I mean, seriously, I understand that the players on the field want to win games, but does Tennessee want to win games? Same with the Raiders. The Raiders have a new head coach, Antonio Pierce. Here's what he had to say, Bray. I'm going to play this and then get your thoughts on this.
All righty.
A teammate, a coworker, somebody that you're close with. We take that very seriously. There's lives and families that's affected by this, and we understand that. But it's a new day. It's a new chapter. It's a new era. It's a new mindset. What is that mindset? It's that of the Raider pride, the commitment to excellence, and making sure our alumni, our fan base, and Raider Nation are proud of what they see on the field. What does that look like? Tough, passionate, effort, energy, that enthusiasm that you see when we all watched our kids and these young men who are now pro athletes play when they're in Pop Warner, having that love for the game. We're on the same page. Champ and myself, our staff is connected. We had a great team meeting this morning. Everybody was steely-eyed and focused. We walked in with a smile on our face. The synergy, the energy in this building, and the personality of our players will reflect on who we are as Raiders. This is a great opportunity for myself. I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I don't take it lightly. I'm sure there'll be questions about why, how. Those will all get answered. But this is about the players, this is about the Raiders, and this is about this organization, and we're tired of losing. It's not a good feeling. We're a production-based business. We're about competition, being competitive, and play with an edge and a swag and a certain confidence that when we walk out that damn tunnel, that everybody watching TV can see it, and a product on the field is something we're proud of.
You can always tell a former player. That energy just radiates through the TV. It radiates through the microphone. I appreciate Raiders YouTube for that video. Antonio Pierce, known him for a long time. When he was with the Giants, I was with the Jets. I was with the Browns as well. Always kicked it, always cool. Got a relationship before. Actually, Plaxico introduced me to him. So I had a relationship before. That whole mess that went on, we won't talk about that, but great dude. I remember we used to do this Monday night deal where it was like Jets, Giants Monday night, but whenever he had to host it, He was like, man, I don't want no Jets but Braylon, man. He said, because I rocked with him before. Like, he was like all about New York Giants. Like, nah, no Jets. I ain't hanging out with y'all. Like, Revis is cool, but nah, I'm going to hang out with you because I know you. Now, let me tell you who this guy is. You know where he was born, Long Beach, California, 1978. You know what used to be in Long Beach? Well, in L.A., the Los Angeles Raiders, when they had Marcus Allen, when they had Bo Jackson, when they were that deal like that. Tim Brown came there. Like, he's known this team for a very long time, and now you give him an opportunity to get in front of these guys, just get the energy right. Sometimes you need a guy to just get the energy right. They had no energy, Ryan, when they came here on Monday night. It's a Monday night game. America's watching. You're playing a team that's 6-2 in the Detroit Lions. They may be a Super Bowl team. This is a game where, shoot, I'm going to get up. I'm going to have some energy. Man, they were flat as a sheet of paper. Like, that's what he's trying to bring back, like that wanting to be there, that wanting to play, that wanting to represent that organization that, I mean, he watched growing up. Like, it's a dream come true when you watch somebody like the Los Angeles Raiders as a kid and grow up, and then you have the opportunity to coach them. He's going to give this opportunity, this job, everything he has, man. I wish him the best of luck because he's a damn good player. But I tell you what, them guys better come to work. Because it's not going to be like when Rich Bisaccia was there. It's not going to be like when John Gruden was there. It damn sure is not going to be like when Josh McDaniels is there. He's going to have these guys working, and he's going to push them out of their comfort zone. I hope they're ready.
He's asking about Long Beach, California in 1978. He's like, you know what's that? So Snoop? I thought I was going to say Snoop, but no, Raiders.
That's my bad. I should have just said Los Angeles, but I want it to be true. And he is from LBC, though.
Oh, man, no doubt. All right, guys. Break time, come back. Top 10
Top
Thursday.
10, baby.
But first, a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations.
7!
An experience where everyone is a regular, whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. Hamlin Pub, making you feel like a regular.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway out in Jersey for a family wedding. JB Parker with us now. It is a weekly segment that we have a lot of fun with. It is a top 10 Thursday. Braylon Edwards, you have the floor.
All right, so what I did was on the fly last second, because I didn't get really a chance to think about this last night, and then my boy Tom Mazaway wasn't here. Scandal. That's what's going on right now. That's what's alleged in Ann Arbor. That's all we're talking about is the potential of a scandal involving Connor Stallions as well as Jim Harmon, University of Michigan. So I figured we have a little fun, poke a little fun at ourselves, if you will, at our own expense. We will do the top sports scandals in the modern era. But the way I'm going to do it, Ryan Ermanni, is I'm not going to count it down. I'm not going to go 10-1 or 12-1 or 2 honorable mentions and then 10. I'm just going to have you guys name me what you believe to be the biggest scandals, and then from there, I'll tell you what those scandals were.
Black Sox
And then we can get, so 1919, Lucky Luciano, who was an investment banker / mob bank, was the book doer in New York, fixed the Chicago White Sox World Series, and Shoeless Joe Jackson never got into the Hall of Fame because of it. And if you look at it, it's BS. Because look at what Joe Jackson hit in the World Series. It was the best numbers of all time. That was Shoeless Joe Jackson. What else you got for me? And what are people saying in the chat?
I gotta get the chat
see
up
what we
here.
get. See what we got people going
What about
on.
the Houston Astros
So
sign
that-
stealing?
2 years ago, was it 3 years ago? Houston Astros stealing signs with electric situations inside their uniforms that allowed them to be able to get a little electric jolt, knowing what the pitch would be. Most notably, Jose Altuve keeping his jersey down after hitting a home run and running to the locker room so that he did not get exposed. Definitely one of the more heinous ones of all time. What
Ray,
else
I got
we got?
one for you.
What you got?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose,
Ooh.
a.k.a. Charlie Hustle, definitely at the top of this sheet right here. Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, Cincinnati Reds, betting. You want to talk about betting on games? Not only did he bet on games, Ryan, did he allege that he never bet on a Reds game? That's what it was. Yes. So it's factual that Pete Rose bet on other games, even during games, but he never bet on the Cincinnati Reds, which is his bread and butter, and he is still, to this day, not in Cooperstown.
What about Tim Donaghy?
Tim Donaghy, 18 years of reffing in the NBA, and a lot of players said things felt weird at different moments, at different times. He and his crew around the NBA were fixing games to the tune of extra foul here, not a foul there, a little bit of 3 seconds here. But with Tim Donaghy, who got arrested, did time in jail, did a year in prison, I do believe, was kicked out the league, blah, blah, blah. What he always still sticks by, which is funny, Ryan, none of what we did influenced the outcome of the game. Spoken like a true narcissist.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
You ready for this, Bray?
I'm ready.
Spygate.
Here you go. 2007, I do believe it was Bill Belichick spying on the Jets, the New York Jets, then coached by Eric Mangini. I do believe they spied on them. They got their plays for the game to come. I want to say the Jets still won the game, but then they were fined $500,000 by the NFL. That's what Bill Belichick was fined. Obviously, we know Robert Kraft paid that, and I believe they lost a draft pick. Not sure about the pick, but I know they were fined $500,000. Bill Belichick cheating. Shocking.
What about the SMU death penalty in 1986?
Got them right there.
Look at that.
Guess who was a journalist down at SMU at the time? Yours truly, Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless, Dallas.
He was down there doing it. Yeah, one of SMU, who's their best player of all time, or best notable player back then, was Eric Dickerson. They could not get over the hump, and the SWAC, or the whatever, I think it was the SWAC, couldn't get over the hump. So what did they do? Started paying players to come to the institution, and they went on a run like no other. The interesting thing about it is once it came out, once they did the fire sale, Ryan Ermanni, college coaches from USC, Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma, all the big ones, Florida, they were lined up in the parking lot the day they announced it at SMU because they were catching players coming out of the locker room like, hey, you want to come to Georgia? Hey, you want to come to Florida? That is SMU, and they got a 20-year ban. You talking about banning somebody.
How about Bob Ermanni? My dad has weighed in on this. He says that the Paul Hornung, Alex Karras suspension for betting on the NFL.
Betting on the NFL.
Was a big deal back in 1963.
Alex Karras.
Hornung was the league's MVP in 1961. Alex Karras, of course, of the Detroit Lions.
He also won the Heisman.
Hornung says his bets were made with friends for $100 to $200. Pete Rozelle said that Hornung bet as much as $500 on NFL games. Rozelle says Karras made bets. Listen to this. Made at least 6 bets. You ready?
Yep.
This cost him his career of $50 and $100. How about that today?
Add inflation.
Right?
Add inflation, though.
Unbelievable.
And Paul Hornung.
Is that something or what?
It is. Paul Hornung's definitely not one of my favorite people.
They were reinstated after a year. Oh, do you have a Paul Hornung story?
No, you remember what he said. He said Notre Dame needed to lower their academic requirements so that we can get more black people into the institution.
I didn't know that.
Nah, look it up. He definitely said. That's why I'm like, you said Paul Hornung. I was like,
hey, and then the other one I forgot to ask you during the break. But the segment before you said we don't have to go into that. What happened did something happen with Antonio Pierce?
Oh no, in Plaxico Burress. Yeah, you know, with Plaxico.
Plaxico.
In the club.
Okay.
They were together.
I didn't realize that Antonio was with him.
Oh yeah, he's the one that drove him to the hospital. He's the one that drove him to the hospital.
Hey, it's a good friend.
Antonio Pierce is a great friend. He also was mad as hell at Plaxico. Like, why do you do you need a gun?
Right.
In New York at the nightclub. Like, we had security, we had everybody. What? It's another just another MSU blunder.
Here is another one I've got for you. You ready?
What we got? I'm ready.
I
got a couple on here.
Oh yeah,
too.
Go for it. Yeah,
Kobe
please.
Bryant.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
I was gonna not.
Okay,
we'll skip by Kobe.
We'll skip by
Reggie Bush.
We'll skip by that.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush is definitely on here. Reggie Bush in the Heisman Gate. Listen, man, Reggie Bush is a great kid. Like, I hung out with him a million times. He's a great kid. I want to get that damn trophy back. Like, at the end of the day, for what they were alleged,
come get my trophy.
You couldn't have came. You could have had to fight me. I earned this. Like, let's say he took money. The money I took, it did not change my athletic ability. I earned this on the football field. I'm not giving it back.
You
can ban me.
Think about those two scandals right there. Whether it's Johnny Manziel signing autographs.
He got away with it though.
Well,
his best friend helped him out.
Right. Either way, Johnny Manziel signing autographs.
He still got his Heisman.
Reggie Bush. You know, just the being vilified and being investigated for these things.
It's legal.
The SMU death penalty for paying players for 16 years. That is all welcome now. Yeah. That is all not only welcome or allowed, that is expected now.
Watch when you start seeing counter stallions for every other university next year.
Right.
Because it's gonna get me illegal. It's gonna be called the Michigan rule.
Right. It's sickening to these people. Here's one. I think it's a big one.
What's a good one?
It's the steroid era.
Oh, got that on here too. Good call. Sitting right here. MLB steroid era. Oh boy. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start about 1997 with McGuire and Sammy Sosa, or do you want to start after that? What happened? What was it? It was the deposition. I think the deposition in front of the Supreme Court, that's what got a lot of guys in trouble. That's what ruined a lot of careers. And then after that, you add Balco in that too. If you want to link Balco in that too, you had about a good strong 7 years of steroid Balco and other things with DeBartolo and Manny get caught with. But yes, that was 2002.
Here's another one.
Trials.
Michigan basketball, Ed Martin.
Ooh, Ed Martin, big donor, University of Michigan. Paid allegedly, well, no, he did. We know this for a fact. He paid some players, Chris Webber, most notably, Jalen Rose, most notably, Juwan Howard, most notably, Jimmy King, most notably, and Ray Jackson, the Fab Five. Everybody admitted to what Ed Martin did, except one individual, and that individual is Chris Webber. And then eventually, after this, they brought the scandal to light in 2000, and it was like 2000. When was it? It was like 2007.
Oh, when it was brought to light?
Yeah, it was like 2000.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, like 2002. Yeah, like 2002.
Like Lewis Bullock and all those guys.
Lewis Bullock, yeah, they was that's 98, and they took all the banners down. And now, if you look up there, there's no Final Fours, there's no national championship game runner-ups. It's not up there. They took it all. That's that. Tim Donnie, steroids.
What you got? Any other good ones there, Bray?
Tigers 12 mistresses.
Oh, Tiger.
Tigers 12 mistresses. That was a hell of a one. We
only 12.
That's all they reported.
Oh man,
that's all they had time to report.
Okay.
Everybody remembers her taking that 2-iron to that navigator. We talked about Floyd Landis.
What about Lance Armstrong?
So it starts with Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong, obviously, he gets popped. He gets busted. He keeps fighting and he keeps lying. Eventually, he gets banned. But then, guess who blew the whistle? It was Floyd Landis that blew the whistle, because what happened was his domestiques, that's what they're called, the people when you do the Tour de France.
Oh, yeah.
It's 7 people, it's 7 legs. There's a main guy, i.e. Lance Armstrong, and then there's 6 domestiques. That's what they're called. They do some of the driving for you, much like Formula One racing. But Floyd Landis is one of his domestiques, and then Floyd got in trouble. He tested positive. Then he got banned for a year, and when he came back, Ryan, Floyd, like Lloyd, what's his name? Lance Armstrong. He didn't have a spot for him on down stick, and he acted like he didn't know him. So Floyd waited, he rode him, he waited, he rode him, he waited, he rode him, and then when Lance wouldn't respond back, he snitched on him.
Oh man,
snitches get stitches.
That's right.
That's what happened with Lance and Floyd.
Pistons got stitched last night.
Yep.
For lack of a better way to say it. We'll talk about that debacle last night. How will they respond tonight? We'll do a little Pistons basketball next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this just for $10 a month with no commitment. Yes, only $10. Remember, no matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness nearby with more than 50 convenient locations in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. For more information or to join, find your local Planet Fitness, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supplies is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest price and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Once again, that website is www.premierpetsupplies.com.
You know, it's so funny. This is so great. We try to talk about some other things happening other than the Detroit Lions and the Detroit Lions and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Well, one of the great things about this medium is that you are able to see how many people are literally watching you at any one moment. And I mentioned that we were going to talk about the Pistons. We lose 50 people.
They're like,
it's kind of funny, man. But I do want to acknowledge.
We got to show them some love.
Yeah, we got to show them some love here. The Detroit Pistons, they were up by 18 points last night, and they ended up losing 110 to 101, an absolute debacle of a second half. And Braylon, if you'll oblige me just 1 minute to go over to Parker, who was irate last night on the our team text thread.
I watched
here
a little bit too, so go ahead, Parker.
And I watched this game a little bit last night. Parker, please, you're first up here.
Okay. So I'm watching the game. I watched every quarter, every minute, because I'm doing nothing at home. Why not put on the Pistons game? I'm like, Portland Trailblazers, an up-and-coming team. We can do this. First half. Oh, man. Marcus Sasser, Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham drops 30 points last night. Great first half. Turnover after turnover that we're getting from Portland. Shadon Sharp, out of nowhere, goes 1 for 8 in the first half. Second half, drops 27 points on her head. I don't know what happened. Is that really what I was seeing? Is that every time Shadon Sharp got in the paint, he drew a foul. And that's really what lost us the game. Man, I don't know how you can just transition from playing extremely good basketball in a half and then just completely getting destroyed by a guy that was playing terrible in the first half.
Pistons scored 42 points in the second half, man. 42 points in the second half. You're not going to win too many basketball games if you're scoring that low a number in the second half, Bray.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to score that many points in the second half. And what you also have to take into consideration, this team is still young. They're still trying to find themselves. Monty Williams is going to get this team to where he wants them to be. But in the second half of games, that's when teams make adjustments at halftime. And that's what you're getting the better coaches. Obviously, shout out to Chauncey Billups, who we all love in this city. Billups, big win for him. He knows how to make adjustments. He's been coaching now for a little bit. He knows how to make adjustments. He has better players, in my estimation terms. Just a young talent that's ready to play right now. Anthony Simons is a damn good player. Shadon Sharp is a damn good player. And they got the rookie this year. I can't think of his name. I forgot. Number 2. He's going to be a problem once he gets going. But the second half, it's adjustments. It's learning how to play with the league, learning how to maintain the league, learning how to extend, learning how to, get the shot clock going down and then take smart shots. That's what the Detroit Pistons are trying to do. But if you think about it right now, what I see right now, early in the season, Ryan, 5-game sample size. I see 101 to 110 last night. They were winning by 18 points in that game. 112 to 124 to the OKC Thunder. OKC is a damn good team. Chet Holmgren, who I wanted to draft. You guys remember that. I wanted Chet Holmgren. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to get up to get him. And then, obviously, they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a problem. He's a walking 39-9. He's a walking 39-9. So he loses them by 12. That's a damn good team. They beat the Bulls. They beat the Hornets. And then in the first game of the season, they lost by 1 point to a team that went to the NBA championship last year in the Miami Heat. So the one thing we asked, we wanted them to go, get to 25 wins. I said I will hope they get to 28. But we wanted them to be in every game. So far through 5 games, they've been in every game. They've had a chance to win every game for the most part. They've won 2 of them against decent opponents. So, if it's 2 wins for every 5 games, do the math on that. I think that'll get you right to about where you want to be. But so far, interesting. And then Asar Thompson, he's been definitely a bright spot for the Detroit Pistons. 15-10 the game before last. That's definitely great by him.
Well, they got to get Killian Hayes out of the starting lineup. I think that's the first thing they got to do. I think they got to get Killian Hayes out of the starting lineup. He was a goose egg last night. 0 points.
There's a lot of those.
0 points. Didn't get to the free throw line. Didn't make a shot. He's a disaster out there.
What I hope to happen is that I saw a lot out of Marcus Sasser last night.
I did too.
And I think they're going to probably transition him to probably be in the starting lineup with Cade and have Ivy come off the bench. He's a really good 6th man for the team, and I think that's a perfect way that Monty is using this guy.
And that's fine. James Harden was a damn great player when he first got drafted out of OKC, out of Arizona State. So that could be a situation for Jaden Ivey. I would definitely welcome that, Ryan and Parker. But with Killian Hayes, it goes to this. Stop falling in love with players. And I think that was a situation where it was his first draft, Troy Weaver. And Troy Weaver, you've done really good lately.
Ding, 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 ding.
It was his first draft. He fell in love with every player from that draft. He paid Beef Stew. He paid Killian Hayes.
Beef Stew's...
No, he deserved it, but I was just kind of saying how he paid everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying that guy impresses me a lot more than I thought than I thought at first.
I feel like he works on his game a lot.
Yeah, he does. He does. I'll say this. One of the things I noticed watching the Pistons game last night, and I'm no expert here, but
we need Kool-Aid.
It felt like Kool-Aid, but it felt like Cade Cunningham forced a lot of shots.
He usually does. His efficiency, when you look at the numbers, are really low. It's because they have to rely on him.
There were guys wide open, and he just was jacking shots. And the Pistons starters, all 5 of them, took 65 shots last night. He took 42% of those. So I don't know what it's like on others. I would have to go through every team and look at their superstar and see what percentage of shots they take compared to the rest of the starters. But he took nearly half of the shots that went up last night by the starting 5. That's not winning basketball. It's just not going to win you basketball games.
This is true, but let me say this in his defense. Most teams around the NBA, they got 3 stars. They have 3 superstars, no less than 2. So those guys are going to be able to balance those between those guys. It's just him.
I hate throwing numbers around with no context. I gave no context behind that number. but it just felt like just eyeball test watching.
I think it's a bit of that, and he feel like he's the only superstar right now. I think, too, you got to remember what he did this summer when hooping with Team USA. He was destroying the best of the best in the NBA. So to come back from that and to come to this team with the Pistons, he's looking around like, damn, that ain't Dame in the corner. Damn, that's not Austin Reeves over there. So to your point, he might need to slow it down and figure it out and get some players that he trusts, and maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got to be find out the players who he's going to trust as we get into December and January.
And I think guys like, Jalen Duren was out last night.
And that's another one of his players.
And you see early, James Wiseman got into foul trouble. Marvin
Did he have 3 fouls in 5 minutes?
Literally. He had 0 points and 3 fouls. And Jalen Duren's a really important player to this team. He's a really important player to have next to Cade. I think that also plays into the number where Cade is throwing up 42% you said, Ryan?
Yep.
But I think that dynamic and not having him there, Cade's probably feeling like he has to rely on himself.
And I agree with you because who was the one guy that went down to Texas and worked with Cade Cunningham in the offseason?
Duren.
It was Jalen Duren. You're absolutely 100% right, Parker.
Guys, now the baseball season is over. The odds are out for 2024. Where are the Tigers listed when it comes to getting...
You're really about to lose followers now.
Shohei Ohtani.
Viewers now.
Bye-bye.
Back to wrap it up next.
But first...
a message from Mark White.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Hey, gang, how would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and Long Drink? Every Lions home game, the official Lions VIP tailgate party, Eastern Michigan, Eastern Market, Shed 5, and
Max
it's always
Crosby
a
on the
bash.
brain.
The official Lions tailgate party back in better than ever. Woodward Sports and the Chicago Bears on November 19th. Food, beverages, entertainment, all included. You can get your tickets online today. Get your tickets online today for the Bears game on the 19th, for the Packers game on Thanksgiving Day. BullseyeEventGroup.com, BullseyeEventGroup.com. Odds out for next baseball World Series season. The odds-on favorite next year are... the Atlanta Braves.
Braves again?
Not surprised.
And number 2, the LA Dodgers. The LA Dodgers are the favorite to land Shohei Ohtani, by the way. The Tigers, where are the Tigers when it comes to the World Series? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have the 6th worst odds to win the World Series next year. Are you ready for this?
That was good.
Who's the
White Sox? The Rockies. Rockies, Athletics, White Sox, Royals, Nationals, and Tigers. So the Tigers are in a division with 3 of the 7 worst baseball teams.
If you guys don't get your ass in the playoffs this year, if they don't get in the playoffs this year, Ryan Ermanni, where are we honestly with the Detroit Tigers as it relates to the playoffs this coming season?
I think it's up to them. Look, I do think it's up to them. Texas Rangers lost 102 games 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
The Arizona Diamondbacks lost 110 games 2 years ago. The Detroit Tigers are not that far away. They've got the Miggy money coming off the books. If you spend wisely, you can get an additional 2 to 3 high-impact players on this team next year that would go a long way for you to win the Central Division. And I think obviously seeing what the Arizona Diamondbacks did, just get in these playoffs and you never know.
Yeah, I think the way Detroit is shaping up as it relates to a sports town, again, I mean, look at what the Red Wings are doing with CVY. I mean, we keep talking about it, but you got to pay attention. Look what the what the Lions are doing, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Look at what the Tigers are doing with Sky Harris. They got better towards the end of last season, like you said. And then, obviously, too, the Detroit Pistons. They made some moves that we appreciate. We're going to watch and see how this thing plays out this year. But I think Detroit is trying to get back to the sports city that we were in the 80s, that we were in the 90s. Like, this was a place where you came, no matter what the sport you were playing, you know you were going to be in a fight. No matter what four of the sports, you're going to either be in a fight or you're going to get beat up.
And another thing with that, you also got to look at the guys we're calling up. Colt Keith, Justin Henry Malloy, and Jace Young, who are also coming up pretty soon here. Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy sooner probably than Jace Young. This is an exciting time. We have a lot of young talent. With this is probably the time where we can expect to potentially win the division.
Absolutely.
2 minutes left in the show right now. Let's go around the room. Parker, game tonight, Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me a score.
Ooh, score. I think it's going to be the Titans winning. I would say 21-14. I don't think this is going to be a high score.
21-14.
JB, what you touchdown scored this game?
JB, what you got?
I think this is going to be an ugly game, so give me Titans 14-10.
All right, we got
Titans 14-10.
That's 2. We got JB, we got Parker, 21-14 and 14-10.
All right, hold on. Let me see.
Minka Fitzpatrick's out today.
Hold on.
I'll go. I'll let you go last, Ryan. I'll let you look it up.
7, 26, 23, 6, 17, 24, 10. Geez, this team scored 51 points in the last 3 games. What's that?
51 points in the last 3 games, so about 16 and a half.
51 divided by 3 is 17 points. So I got the Steelers 17 and the Titans 9.
The fact that we didn't realize 3 times 17 is 51 should let it know.
Hey man, it's been a long day.
I was about to say that should let us.
4:30 comes early, Bray.
You ain't lying. That's why I love my job. I love my schedule.
4:30 comes early, Bray.
It absolutely
17-9 Steelers.
17-9 Steelers. I'm gonna put you down 17-9. I am going to take the Steelers as well. I'm going to take them at 24-6.
There you go.
Wow.
17-9 is a real ugly game too. Not even worth watching.
Every score we said was
Pistons
ugly.
Then.
Do it. Hey, man, don't be dogging the Pistons out, man. It's Detroit, okay? We're going to have you.
Aren't Wings on tonight, too?
Huh?
Aren't the Red Wings on tonight,
too? Oh, yeah, the Red Wings play tonight, too. The Red Wings are at home tonight, too. They play the Florida Panthers tonight.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. Damn, if I had to go to Ann Arbor, that wouldn't be a man.
Man.
Got to go to Ace Deuces now. I'm going to Chop House.
Are you really?
A couple of homeboys, my boy Chip Johnson works with Samsung. We did work with Samsung. Now he's working with CBS. And then my roommate at college, Hayes Grooms, we're going to go to lunch with the people with CBS as well as Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum going to dinner.
You're going to dinner with Mike Tannenbaum tonight?
Mike Tannenbaum, the CEO of CBS, and then me, his wife, and then myself, Chip, and Hayes Grooms.
Look at that, man. Go get it.
Hey, man. Look, man, I'm trying to make some moves, man.
Are you leaving me?
No, I would never. Listen, and miss out on Skinny Butcher, never.
I'm going to MC an event tonight at the Rooster Tail for Full Circle Foundation, which is an organization that benefits autism locally in the area here. So we hope to raise a lot of money tonight. Check out that organization as well. Guys, we're going to get
some
out of
Sinbads.
Here. Yeah, it's at Rooster Tail.
Sinbad's right next door.
So right next door, Sinbad's. Absolutely.
Hey, we appreciate you guys.
Get us out of here, Bray.
I got you, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Maz, we missed you, but hey, enjoy yourself. We will be back tomorrow.
Rigged!
We'll be on location tomorrow, Dispo, Hazel Park. So check us out. We'll figure this thing out. We appreciate you. JB, great show out of you. Parker, I see you jumping in, man, when you can. I like that, man. Keep going in. It's all good. Get the energy. Get the information. We need your Parker tears, by the way. Ryan and Ermanni, love you. Enjoy your event tonight. We will see you guys tomorrow. Ermanni and Edwards, without Maz for the day.